What's going on, guys? I hope you all are having a great day. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, got to spend a lot of time with friends and family. I know I did. I had a blast. I got to see some people I haven't seen in a very long time, and I'm very thankful for that, so I hope you guys did enjoy yours as well. Today what we're going to be taking care of on the Can-Am is something that's much needed. If you have a Can-Am, you probably already know what I'm talking about or ran into this issue yourself. Maybe you still have the issue and don't know the route to take. So today, hopefully we can solve that problem on not only mine, but a couple of you guys as well. There's a company called ATV that highly improves the end caps on the front brush guard, and if you have a rear brush guard, that one as well. I personally have the front and rear brush guard on the 1000, which we're about to go out there and take a look at. But the stock end caps that come from Can-Am are just plastic. They're horrible shape. On my 850 that you guys know I sold not too long ago, mine actually broke off going down the trail. I wasn't even actually driving it at the time on the 850 that the plastic stock piece broke off. But as you guys know, with friends and family, if you get a new ATV, of course everyone's going to want to drive it. Even some of the little ones that are old enough to control it safely are going to want to drive it. So you let them drive it, maybe they hit a tree or something, or even, like I said, a big gust of wind. These things are so crappy. The screws, what happens is when we take them off, we're going to show you, but what happens is the screw kind of separates off the plastic piece and it just falls off altogether, and maybe one side will hang in there and it'll just look like crap. You have to replace one of the top or bottom screws. We're going to take a look at it. I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. Like I said, if you don't have a Can-Am yet, maybe you're thinking about getting one, this is definitely something you need to take a look at and know that you're going to need before getting it if you do have a brush guard. Now some of them don't even come with brush guards, but like I said, mine did come with the front and rear brush guard, which I actually was just working on the front one, so we're going to have to talk about something on the front brush guard here in a minute after I show you these. But this guy's name is Steve Buckner. He's the owner of ATV, and what it is, it's a company ran by himself and his sons, so it's a family-owned business. Really good people to work with over here, provide you with really nice instructions when you order their kit. You can either get the 2 kit or the 4 kit. Like I got the 4 kit, but you can get the 2 kit just in case maybe you don't have the rear brush guard. I know on my brother's 2018 XMR, he actually doesn't have a rear brush guard, which kind of made him mad, but it is what it is. I don't, you know, some Can-Ams come with them, some don't, depending, I guess, what dealership and what package you get. But he does include new hardware, and like I said, the instructions are pretty self-explanatory. We're going to be going over those as well. And he actually just told me a little bit about him and his company here on that letter right there. Really cool guy. You can actually get these things in raw aluminum or get them bed linered. Like I got these bed linered, but these that I'm sending out to the guy that bought my 850, I did get him some aluminum raw ones so he can paint them whatever color he wants, because that 850 is charcoal. And then here's another, because that one did come with a front and rear brush guard as well. I still have to mail these out to that guy. If you're watching this video, man, I'm sorry. I've definitely been slacking. I definitely need to get those out to you, definitely within the near future. But I did get the bed liner black for the triple black, of course, because everything else is black on the bike itself. So I did get 2 for the front and 2 for the rear. Here's a look at the hardware, by the way. He just plugs it right into the hole so you don't have to worry about losing it from the factory. So there's a look at the hardware. Definitely a lot better grade and quality than the stock one. And it's, I believe, an 8mm head on there, and it includes the washer and the bolt that goes down to about here or so, I believe. So it's not that long of a bolt, but we'll take a look at that here in a minute. But one thing I wanted to discuss before we get this video completely kicked off is that, as you've seen a minute ago, I was doing a little bit of work out here, and I could not seem to figure out why this front brush guard would not come off. Now what it is it's 2 13mm bolts down there, and then it's 13mm in size up here with a little T40 star bit on top. Now as you can see, I was starting to strip the T40 out, and I was like, okay, hold on, let me pump the brakes for a second. I tried that one first, started to strip it, so I said, okay, I'll move on to the next one. It's not my first rodeo stripping things out, so I definitely didn't want to go all in on one before I touched up on another. So I tried to hit this one up, started to strip it out, started to hit this one up. I actually got this one decently loose, but after this one I told myself, okay, you know, it's almost off and it's still really hard to turn. I don't know if you guys can even see, but I did make a little bit of progress on this side, and it was still really hard to take off. So I was like, okay, you know, let me pump the brakes again and do a little bit of research. So it turns out there's actually yellow Loctite on all these bolts right here. Not on these. These already came off really easily. I already got those off down below, but there's 6 in total, 4 on top, 2 on bottom on the front. These have yellow Loctite on them. I'm probably gonna end up stripping them out, and at that point I'm gonna have to drill these heads off and take the bolts off that way. So right now what I need to do is do the rear bumper today in this video, so you guys have an idea of what these things look like on the ATV. And then I have to go to the hardware store when they open up and grab new bolts for the front. That's what I'm gonna have to end up doing. I know I'm gonna strip these things out because they have yellow Loctite from the factory. And it's a problem that people have ran into while installing these end caps from Aero ATV. By the way, I'll put their website in the description down below. It'll be the top link in the description down below. AeroATV.com is where you can check these things out. So sadly, we're not gonna be able to get to the front bumper today. I went ahead and even disconnected my light bar because I knew, you know, obviously it's attached to it, so it was gonna have to come off with it. So I went ahead and took this panel off and got down in there and disconnected my light bar actually, and even cleaned it up with some mass airflow sensor while I was down there. So I did have all the intentions of putting the aluminum end caps on the front as well today, but I'm gonna have to wait till the part store opens up and get that hardware. But we are gonna knock out this video nevertheless and get the rear brush guard done, because this one went ahead and looked at this hardware as well. There is four bolts on each side. So there's a 13 mil right there, 13 mil bolt right there. I loosened it up already just to make sure it was the right size. And then there are two 10 mils right there on the bottom. And it's the same exact way on the other side. So I'm gonna get to work on taking this rear brush guard off, at least get the rear done today, and I'll catch up with you guys here in a minute.
This world is so hateful, you running through my mind, and I really can't take you. James Harden at the garden when I'm going off. You see the guard around my neck, I'm just showing off. You looking at the best, baby, I ain't gonna stop. Reaching for the mountaintop.
Alright, so what I figured we'd do is we'll do one side at a time just to make it easier for us, because just having one side off, now we have the top piece off, but we have enough access behind it now to get our T20 and take that back piece off. We have plenty enough access room now. We can even take it out even further if we need to, but we'll just keep one side on at a time. Once we get this aluminum side on, we'll go ahead and work on the other side. But we're also going to use this time while we have the back rack off to go ahead and clean underneath it, since we usually don't have pretty good access underneath here. So we're going to go ahead and clean this off, and then I'll check back up with you once we start working on that piece that I have. Actually, I set it over here. We're going to use this one for on this side, and then that one right there on the other side. So I'll check back up with you here in a minute. So one thing I wanted to show you before we go any further is what I was talking about with those plastic pieces on the back of these where the screws meet up. This is what broke off my 850, and what is very common on other Outlanders, and really doesn't make the back of the front brush guard look good at all, or quite honestly even protect your headlights and taillights, which is what another bad thing about these Can-Ams is. These taillights and headlights are always going out, so these plastic pieces and these taillights together, like again my 850, my taillights went out, and it's very common for them to rip out in Can-Ams a lot. And if you guys have Can-Ams, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So a couple of deficiencies from factory I would say would be the plastic pieces, the end caps for the rear brush guard and front brush guard, and also the taillights rip out really easily because all the plastic around it. So again, 850 did, you know, the taillight broke in it, I think the first time I took it out, and then like the 4th or 5th time I took it out, it was a buddy that took it out, and he actually messed up the end cap on it accidentally. You know, it's not a big deal. I researched it. It happens a lot. That's why we're here today. But it's just something to think about. You know, these aluminum caps do more than just, you know, protect the body work. It also protects the headlights and taillights as well. And that's something I wanted to show you before we move any further. Is it's these connections right here. If it'll focus, you guys can see kind of snaps off because it's just plastic. And here's the little screws, what they look like from factory, these little tiny screws. They're a T20 in size if you're looking at doing this project yourself. So that's where we are right now, guys. I went ahead and took out one of the bolts on the Aero ATV aluminum end caps just so you can see how, you know, long they are, whatever, what size they are. Comes with a lock washer and a regular washer, and it's a size 8mm head on this bolt right here. So we're gonna throw this together real quick, and again, don't even have to go over it, but of course this is aluminum as well, so it's not gonna break. One thing you do want to be careful on though is to not tighten these bolts down too bad, because this is just aluminum, it's not steel. So just snug it on there, and then these things will be good to go. They'll be protecting our taillights and, you know, the body of our ATV a lot better.
So dope, got the 12 rated summons, holy like the Pope. From hell I've been running, from hell I've been running all of my life. I've been focused on my craft, making fans every night. I ain't focused on your compliments or peasy advice. I'm focused on the message when I sit down to write.
Alright guys, we are all done with our Aero ATV aluminum end cap install. They do look, now I didn't think they'd look better because they're black, but the rough texture with the triple black all the way around, when you're up close, the rough texture looks so much better than the cheap plastic. I mean, you guys can, those things are gonna break. With that thing, those aluminum caps are gonna last a long time and protect this ATV. You guys can hear that. I'll let this truck pass so you guys can get a better audio. You guys can hear a little bit better. It's gonna protect a lot better on the trails than that piece of crap right there. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please leave a like down below. It really helps with the YouTube search results and growing the channel. We are gonna get back to riding the 1000 very, very soon. My brother and me are missing the ATV so much. He's got his 850, you guys know that. He hasn't rode it in a while. His truck is actually in South Florida right now and is actually being P-pumped right now and a lot of other things. So a lot of big exciting things coming from my brother's channel as well. But for the first and before we end out this video, a little update on the fuel sending unit from LMC. I went ahead and told them today, it's been like 4 weeks. They're giving me the runaround. They're like, oh, we're waiting for this department to email us back. We're waiting for this manufacturer to get back with us on this part number in this box and blah, blah, blah. And this, every single time I call them, they have an excuse. You guys know how that goes. Hopefully you haven't had to deal with that before, but most of you guys, if you order truck parts like I do all the time, you have probably been there and done that just like I have. I've got the runaround for companies for months and months and months before. It has been 4 weeks. I gave LMC 4 weeks on this fuel sending unit that they have labeled, or I guess in their catalog, they are advertising it as the wrong year. They're advertising it, if you go to their website right now, 55-6652 fuel sending unit that we need to replace on this truck. The 1993 12 valve project build that, if you guys are new to the channel, this thing has been so much fun, but this has been another bump in the road for us. If you guys go to their website right now, that'll come up as a 1993 fuel sending unit, which is what I need, but it is for a 1990, I'm not even gonna open up the box, but it has a big sticker on the front or the top of it that says 1994, 1995 only. And it's a big screw up for LMC's company, and they just do not want to fix it. I don't know why they don't want to fix it, but I just told them today, you know what, screw it. I'm done playing around with these games. I told them just to send me out a shipping label in the mail. They're sending it now. I'm just gonna send this one back, get my money back, and probably just go with like a Gino's Garage or some other company, some other website out there that makes these fuel sending units, and go with that and hopefully not have any issues. But I thank you guys for making it all the way to the end of this video. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you in the next one.
Someone who's faithful, this world is so hateful. You running through my mind and I really can't take you. James Harden at the garden when I'm